Just, you know how it goes. Live streaming, OBS, just changes for no reason. Quick setting change. But hey, thank you all for joining me today. It's Thursday. We are live, as we are every Thursday. So thank you all for being here. I'm glad you can finally hear me. I'm glad we're good. Excited to be here. There's lots of exciting music tech things happening as of late. Super Booth is going on over in Berlin, and that's really cool. There's like a couple big things popping out of that. I don't know if you all are following that news. We'll talk about a couple of the announcements, a couple of things that caught my attention. And it's really making me think about NAMM, because NAMM is coming up, which is this big annual conference. Usually it's in June, but since it's been so long since there has been one, I mean, usually it's in the winter, or like January. But this year it's going to be in June because it's been so long since there has been one, and I'll be going. And I know there will be some exciting things happening there, but I hope there'll be lots of exciting things. So yeah, thanks everybody for being here. This stream, oh, and of course, most importantly, we are going to be checking out some... That's a new Arturia synth, the Korg Ms2, I think it's called. So we're going to check out some of the new sounds from the Arturia V collection. Arturia did hook me up with some of the sounds. But today's stream, it's brought to you by members. So thank you to all the members, all those cool people with badges in the chat. I think YouTube is slowly but surely getting with the whole members thing. There's some promising updates coming. Big creators now have gifted subs, so hopefully they will give it to us small creators at some point, which will be a fun way to engage. And a lot of fun things have happened in the past week. Let's talk about that. But first of all, let me shout out some people before we get started here. First round of shout outs. Let's shout out our top chatters from the past week. And I do see everybody in chat. Thank you for being here. I'm going to say hello to all you in a moment. But our top chatters of the past week: Saksham, Wenels, Floor, Lewin, Akasis, Bishop, Cody, Leonardo Gomes, Kitty Cat, TI80 Mark, Colonel Fleek. Thank you all for being top chatters. And then we added some new members this past week. Added new members, people resubscribed, etc. So let me just shout out those people. Llewellyn, thank you so much. And Michelle. Quenel, I think a lot of these people that signed up for VIP signed up specifically to do the workshop, which happened last Saturday. We can talk a little bit about that too. Wislow, thank you for being a huge supporter. That is like major. Bishop, thank you for resubbing at VIP. Mika as well. Kishore, thank you for joining the community. Erickson and Kaitan at VIP. Shannon Lucas, thank you for joining the community. I think you're cute. Oh, well, thank you. Joining at VIP along with Time. Thank you. Bud the Fish, Chili Cat, and One Step Too Far to join the community tier. So thank you all new members and our regular members for resubbing. Appreciate you all. You make the channel stay afloat. If you want to be a part of this cool community of members, kind of some people that I just shouted out, it's also the people that you see with cool badges next to their names in chat. You can go ahead and hit that join button down below. And one of the reasons to do that is because we are doing some members only live streams. They're actually deeper than live streams. They're not just normal live streams. They are full on workshops. So the first one actually already happened this past Saturday. It was about how to analyze and learn from your favorite songs. And we took a 2-hour deep dive, my friends. 2 hours. in just breaking down a song. I'm not gonna like play the whole thing because it's obviously for members, but breaking down a song piece by piece, engaging with chat, taking questions about it, and really going deep. Something we can't really do like as a regular stream or in a regular YouTube video. I might do like a short YouTube version of this, but even if you become a member right now, you weren't able to join this live, but you get access to this in the channel feed if you become a member. And then, of course, you'll be able to attend this month's, or I should say next month's workshop, which doesn't have a date yet, but I'm aiming for like the first Saturday in the month. We'll be doing finding your style as a producer. So what makes your unique voice? What makes your unique style as a producer? That is something we'll be covering. So that will be fun. And then you can see the other ideas coming down the pipeline. These are happening once per month, live with members. You can ask questions live, VIP and above. So join if you haven't yet. Other cool perks there too. You get free sample packs and stuff with the membership. You can join our Discord, and then you can get feedback on the feedback streams, which happen once a month as well. So a lot of bang for your buck at that VIP tier. Okay, I have to say hello to everybody in chat. Let me go ahead and throw some chill beats in the background. Hello. Okay, I'm not gonna start from the top because like I will lose my place, but what's good, Bishop? What's good, Bar? BJM, and hello, long time no see. Thank you for being here. Nesty, hello. Wizlo, Matt Renzetti, long time no see, Matt Renzetti. Amelia, you're staying up super late, I guess. You should go to bed probably. Nesty, I already said hello to. John Jill, also long time no see. Thank you for being here. 77 Social, Wizlo. I'm repeating names. OV Beats keeps spamming the why don't you stream on Twitch question. Because my audience is already over here on YouTube. White, hello. And Joshi, nice to see you. What did I miss? Redrax, nice to see you. Ricardo, no digital, red hair. Julian, long time no see. A lot of names I haven't seen in a bit. I feel like Ray Calvin, my mom and dad are in the chat, which is great. 778 had questions about the thumbnail, I guess. I baited everybody with the thumbnail. I love doing that. What did I miss? Brandon Rico Simpson, thank you for being here. Hello, everybody. And Mert, hello. Oh, from Turkey. Nice to see you. And Daniel as well. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. Calvin says, love your content. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, it's your first live stream, let us know. Say hello. Where is Joseph? Joseph is in Korea, where I will be soon, but stay tuned. The homie Nick, what's good? All right, yeah, we're going to talk about the Arturia plugins. We're going to make some music today, obviously. That's what we like to do on these streams. But let me just take a minute, talk about a couple things that have popped up. I have like 100 windows open. Also, everybody who asks about the thumbnail, it's because with the tablet, it's just like very simple. The iPad can mirror the Mac screen, and it makes for a good picture because everybody gets like hyped and like confused. But guys, I don't have any crazy access. Quick shout out here. The Ableton Live for Beginners series dropped and it's doing pretty well. So if you need that fundamental from the ground up Ableton Live series, these are going to be coming out once a month. Stay tuned for that. I'll have a video out this Sunday as well. Not the Ableton Live for Beginners. Next chapter will be next month. But this is a really good start for you if you're confused about making music in Ableton Live. DistroKid sponsored 10 episodes of the series, so we're going for at least 10 episodes, my friends. All right, that's that. Next up here, some super booth news that I've seen a lot of. I can't believe these websites survive with these ads, but nonetheless. Polyan Play. I gotta mute my background music, I apologize. And I have 100 Google Chrome tabs open. Okay, mute that. Polyan Play. Some of you might know the Polyan Tracker. I'm not a huge fan of trackers, so I think it's interesting to see that they're coming out with a groove box. I think this is interesting music for an ad, for a product launch. I think it says a lot about this kind of electronic music scene. Despite the music in the ad, it does look like a pretty decent groove box. It seems to be, though, mostly a sample player, which seems a bit limiting. And every time I've seen somebody work with it so far, despite having this nice screen, I haven't seen it show a waveform and like waveform editing, which just seems like a strange choice. But I'm getting Deluge vibes. So that is slightly piquing my interest. This is another reason I'm excited for NAMM, because I'm hoping some of this stuff will also be at NAMM and I can play with it hands-on. The other big announcement from today was, let's see, the OP1 field, an update to the OP1, beloved sampler groovebox thing. Teenage Engineering put out their field mixer, which is like this really compact little mixer, which is quite appealing, in my opinion. Me, I'm still not super sold on the dream of the OP1. I've used it a couple times and it seems arduous. It is $2,000. But I suppose if you are looking for a powerful, portable piece of gear to work with, maybe you could justify the price. Teenage Engineering has always been a high price company. And the thing you have to remember with price and value is that it's like price in this instance usually has no relation to like what a product is actually worth, because that's like super subjective. A basketball is worth nothing to me till LeBron James is worth a lot. So like what annoys me, like, okay, the OP1 like looks cool. I've used it. It just seemed like a little bit difficult. It doesn't really like work with my brain. I have a hard time with the whole like it's tape and then it's like you're recording 4-track. It's like, okay, we have beautiful technology and we're limiting ourselves to like what certain hardware limitations were. But anyway, it does look neat. It looks fun. It's obviously a very powerful sampler as well, and nothing is more portable than this, I don't think, unless you're going to be making music on your phone. But aside from like the product in general, the thing that bothers me is like the discourse around like product launches. Obviously, everybody gives Teenage Engineering shit for their products being expensive. It's like, whatever, like, okay, like it's too expensive for you. We get it. But that like, not every company has to make products that are accessibly priced. And you can say that, you can complain about the price and say like, oh, I can't afford this, it's too expensive. But other people just make judgments of like, oh, it's not worth it, because it's like, that's like a BS argument, because what's worth it to you is not worth it to somebody else. You know, there will be people with these that it is worth the money to them. So don't get caught up in that discourse online. And then also there's this echo chamber of like everybody repeating the same lines over and over again. It's like somebody reads one comment and then they go and repeat it in a bunch of other comments and forums. So like you're going to see this about 10 to 12 to 15 to maybe 100 times today when you read comments on the OP1 field. You're going to see somebody, I absolutely guarantee it. You're going to see somebody say, oh, I'm going to have to sell a ton of gear just to afford this. It's just like an ongoing joke. And the annoying part about that is like, okay, that's not your original thought. You just saw somebody else say that and parroted it. Like it's just a narrative, like the music tech echo chamber and narrative, which is like really obnoxious to me. But hey, to each their own. Just like, it's like, okay, like if it's not for you, move on. Or if it's not something you can afford right now, like, okay, like we got to move on for a little bit. And then maybe one day you come back when you can afford it. Or when they become used. Like I used to have to buy gear used, or like when I needed my first MacBook and I had to get a credit card that had like 0% interest for 12 months so I could pay for the MacBook over time rather than all at once. Like we've all been like in those situations, but I'm like not mad at like there's no use in being mad at Apple. Like why is it so expensive? It's like, do you want it or not? And if you don't, move on. If you do and you can't afford it right now, it's not going to do you any favors just to cry about the price. I'm sympathetic to the fact that, like, you know, people should be living in better conditions so that they can afford certain things. Absolutely. But the reality of the moment is not a lot of people can afford a $2,000 Groovebox sampler, whatever you want to call it. Tricky situation, but for us as artists, there's just not a lot of use in complaining about it on the internet and parroting the same jokes back and forth. Kitty Cat's here. What's good? Jensen McKay. Hello. If you have V Collection 8, how do you get V Collection 9? Is there an update? Do you have to pay for it? I have no idea. I'm sure that is completely explained to you on the Arturia website or in an Arturia email. Homie Nick says, I upgraded to the V Collection 9 last night. Very impressed so far. I like the Korg Synth Piano V. Oh yeah, they did update a bunch of instruments in addition to adding new ones. Should we get into Arturia V Collection now? I just wanted to talk about the new gear news a little bit at the top. Let's do it. You guys are asking me questions like differences between analog 4 and 5. We're here to like play with new sounds and make some music. If you're looking for like a spreadsheet of here's all the differences, you gotta go to the website to find that. It's just, that's not interesting for me to cover, and it's not the best use of our time here. What is a good use of our time is showing you some new instruments. I got a few things here. So the Augmented series, which is like brand new. So let's start with that. We'll work our way to the Korg because I think the Korg is a pretty strong contender. Anyone else curious about the Minilab MkIII? Yes, very. It's been a long time. What's happening? I assume it has to do with supply chain, but I don't know. All right, so these augmented things are like a different vibe for Arturia. This one is a string. There's augmented strings and there's augmented voices. And I put up a reel today with kind of like this magical lo-fi beat, right? But this is the string sound I used, I believe. One thing I love about this string sound is that morph knob in the middle is really powerful. We go from being like a solo instrument to being a full section, which I think is really fun. And the reason that I do break out the Minilab for, especially when I'm working with Arturia plugins, is because it just immediately syncs up with the macros of the plugin. So obviously I got a little lost in that sound there, but that's a beautifully cinematic sound. I just want to jump through some random presets. I wish I could just jump to a random one. I don't know if that's possible. So we've got the beautiful user interface, of course, but then let's also mention that if I could click advanced, we're getting Pigments vibes here. So if you do want to go deep with these sounds, you do have that ability. Let's just hear what this sounds like with only one layer. That's that kind of bassy synth. A little bit of strings in there. And let's hear just layer B. That's the top end. So now you really hear the cool. And I'm obviously not a synth nerd, so I love the fact that we have these easy macros, which are going to give us like a somewhat of some type of dramatic change or change in character to the sound. Whoa. Awesome. Just a couple more. What are there for this choir strings here? What's this? Wow. This is very Dune-esque. And I say that knowing there is actually, I don't know if it's in this one or if it's in the vocal one. I think it's in the vocal one, but there's a preset called Deserts of Arrakis, which is cool. So let's jump over to the vocal augmented voices. That's what it's called. Yeah. And I can actually make this bigger for you. Boom. Yeah. I love this. You guys know that I love vocal sounds. Whew, that's just one. That is literally just one preset. There's all these categories here. Let me find that Desert of Arrakis. Did I lie? I know that I saw it. It might not have been called Desert of Arrakis. It might have been called like Arrakis Desert or something. Never going to find it now, and everybody's going to think I was lying. Or did I just perhaps imagine it? Engineer's Extinction. What's this? I literally want to go score a movie with this. I don't like it. All right, cool. TAETRO short film coming soon. Yeah, I think I just need to go shoot a bunch of like B-roll or something and make my own movie. Okay, a couple more from this. Just beautiful pad. You hear this, the combo of that organ versus the operatic female voice there? So here we see This is exactly like Augmented Strings. We see what's happening in the background here. Built-in arpeggiator. We dice it. That's gate. I don't know why I can't do that. What does that do? Oh, chord. Interesting. I'll have to dive deeper with that. We have access to the effects. And very good access to the macros. That's great. The morph is not changing just one. Actually, none of these macros seem to be changing just one element. In fact, they're changing multiple elements of the synth. Very cool. Let me turn that arpeggiator off. But that's good to know that it's there. I actually didn't even realize that until just now. All right, I will literally spend all day just playing these pad sounds, if I'm being honest. But before we get into making actual music, let me just show you another one of the new instruments. This is the SQ80V. So as usual, so this is more the bread and butter, the more what we come to expect from Arturia and the V collection, these sort of recreated vintage synths, but digital. And then we usually have a display that shows the original kind of user interface, the usual hardware. And then generally we'll have like a page like this where we can go in the back and mess with the synth. Let's flip through a couple of these. Oh. What's up, Chris Dima? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, nice. This one has a... Wow, I love this sound. Listen to that, it's like floating away. Filter. I think since I'm not in Analog Lab, these those presets or knob mappings are not so kindly mapped, maybe? I was getting some filter control. All right, I just want to save that sound. So we got the SQ80V. Let's just quickly check out the Korg Ms2, and then we'll make something rather than just do a whole sound test. All right, here's the like thing that is like boggles my mind. Maybe people like this. I'm sure this like seems like a fun thing to do for people, but please, I don't need it. I just don't need it. I don't need patch cables in a digital interface. If I wanted patch cables, I would go buy hardware. But that is to say also, this is a beautiful sounding synth. Flip through a couple of the presets just like before. Whoa. Oh, nice bass. They just, Arturia generally does nail the warmth. Like this sounds like you're on a big stage with like a freaking rock band. That's fun. Funky finger. Windy outside. I already like it. I really like this sound as well. And this one seems to have a sequencer, which I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to use because I'm not quite sure how it works yet. And then we've got an effects panel. Let's give this a bit more reverb. Like I want it to have a big reverb. Oh. Oh. It's okay. Pitch modulation. Don't think I have anything there. Low pass filter. I love it. Yeah, so these are just like 4 of the new sounds in the V collection. They did update some sounds, so the Archery Piano plugin is a great plugin. And it just got an update. There's definitely a UI update, but I think they've also added some new sounds. Obviously some atypical pianos in here, not just your stereotypical grand. They actually came to my house to take the pictures for this. I don't know if you guys know that. One kind of useful thing that I like is I don't have to have a sustain pedal hooked up. I can kind of click and hold that sustain pedal there. Beautiful sounding piano. Black Forest is the name of that preset. So they basically, you have all these different types of pianos, which is different to the room and the preset that's actually going on. So you could swap into a jazz upright or classical upright. That German one sounds great. So dark. Sounds like everybody really likes the sound of these plugins. All right, so real quick, it's hard for me to accurately say what is in the V collection, but let me go into my Arturia folder. And I believe most of what you see here in this list, well, the latest versions. So you see things like CS80, the V4 versions are going to be what's included, I believe. Well, and the ones that don't have numbers, I also believe. But Arturia's website will have more accurate information, but it is to say that I just showed you like 4 new sounds and one of the updated sounds. There are more updated sounds as well. What do you say we go ahead and make some music with this, if you all would like, and we can go for it. What do you guys think of all these sounds? I think I'll start with this sort of electric piano sound on the SQ80, Liquid Thoughts. Start with that chord. Are Augmented Strings part of Analog Lab? Like, are the presets there? Well, let's check my theory here, but I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that Analog Lab is just a container for all these Arturia plugins. It's not really a separate plugin in itself. It contains all of your Arturia plugins and kind of gives you macro controls, etc. So the question was about strings, right? Augmented strings. I can never find a chat after I read it. Yes. Okay, so yes, look, they're all there. And as I flip through them, you see the macros changing. So the macros are there as well. And I don't know, chat, tell me if this is new. Every time I open Analog Lab, you've seen me struggle to try to figure out how to get to the actual synth, but they added this like edit preset button with a very clear pathway to getting to the actual plugin. Tell me they didn't add that. Tell me that's not new. Because if it's not new, then I've been struggling for no reason. What is it, 68 BPM? What are we going to play again? I forgot. Just gonna let this roll for a bit and see what we get. One, two. Oh, let's just record. Okay, let's go for it. I kind of like those two chords, but I want to just repeat that because I don't want to spend forever on this one sound, but that sounds pretty good to start. This is a good starting point for a sound. Peace out, Wizzo. Thanks for tuning in. Mudstone, hello, what up? If you're just joining, we are just using some new sounds from the Arturia V collection. We just started making some music. I did demo a few of the new sounds from the plugin, but let's continue on. Hello, Diana Fernandez. I'm well. How are you? Great. That was such an abrupt stop to such like a graceful sound, but make sure. Keep this going. All right, let's grab something from strings. Am I dead or am I really here? You're here. All right, let's try to find some kind of graceful string sound. Somebody was saying something about scrolling through presets. I hear you. I know how it's supposed to work, but it doesn't seem to actually be working the way I expected. It's cloudscapes. Oh. Nice. Whoa. My camera is not centered at all today, huh? Let's fix that. That should be slightly better. All right, let's grab that, whatever I just played. Great. So what didn't we use? We didn't use the Korg MS-20 yet. is my low pass filter. There we are. Oh, I messed up this preset somehow. Let's beef up the dry wet. Oh, if you got sub, that's coming through. That is simple bass line. Let's record that really quick. I'm gonna throw the metronome on, but shh, don't interrupt the piece. What was I doing again? Oh God, I forgot. I was changing. This lower octave. Oh, that initial attack is great. That lowest note. Great. This high pass filter, we don't need that. I just don't think that's gonna sit well in the mix that low. All right, let's just record this. All right, where are you? Great, that's quantized. I'm happy with this little ambient thing. Ambient kind of, it's very scenic, right? What's up, Jermaine? You can finally watch a live stream? Great. This sounds peaceful. I'm so excited. It sounds beautiful. Thank you, kitty cat. So calming, says Connor Edwards. That's what I'm going for. The Voices plugin sounds so good. Exactly, Cozy. Exactly. Do you wiggle a key on the Minilab or the Keylab? Is there a bit more expression given to the sound? No. See, the problem with your question, Deemster, big fan. Arturia Minilab coming tomorrow. Let's pause the music for a moment to just like address this question. Make this a little smaller. Make the chat come here. Okay, the issue is, Deemster, you ask a question, and then you say, guess I will never know. Well, I was in the middle of making some music, so apologies that I did not stop the stream to answer your question, but let me do it now. Big fan here. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for being a big fan. But if you've consumed any of my content where I'm trying to help people out, you know that I can't let this question slide the way it has been asked. Okay, so you're getting a MIDI controller tomorrow. Fantastic. Simple question. How can I sample sound in real time from real objects? The problem there is it's not a simple question. If you approach it as if it's a simple question with a simple solution, you're probably not going to find what you're looking for. And that's probably why you haven't found resources on the topic. I've got many, many videos and many, many tutorials where I'm doing just this, sampling sound in real time. I do it a lot with my voice in real time. I use Ableton Live Session View, process it through vocals, etc. A Obviously, me explaining that to you doesn't really probably help that much, but just watching tutorials. You gotta watch the tutorials, and it's not so simple. Sampling real sounds in real time, it's a little bit complicated. There's some things that, like the timing of your track, your record buffer, all that, like all that matters, how you're processing the track, that sort of thing. Do you think any MIDI keyboard will be announced at NAMM? Says Snooze. Who knows? Who can say? This would fit perfectly in an indie game. Oh, nice. Yeah. I think I want to, like, I do really like scoring because I like the connection between music and visual. That's why I have a video channel, you know? All right, back to the music anyway. I just wonder what resampling this would be. Would it be an abomination? Also, can somebody explain to me why this note comes in late? Not that note, this first note of the phrase. Am I missing something there? Hear that? Why does it come in late? Is it the MIDI? Something to do with the MIDI? Really quick, let's do this. Well, that didn't work at all because... Why didn't that work at all, actually? It doesn't make any sense. A, boom. All right, let's just hard quantize this to make sure. We can't be messing this up. So that should come right in. I don't know what I'm missing there. I like this person in chat that says, nope. Is it the filter opening? Yeah, that's a good question. Let me double check that, but I don't think so. Oh, that is what it is. It is because when I was recording the automation. Good call. Who was that? TI-80 Mark. Good call. It's because I was recording automation for the low pass filter and it reset back at the beginning. So, nope, I don't need to open that. Let's open the automation. Actually, I do need to open this and I need to click on low pass filter. No. Why is it not showing automation? Am I insane? I'm not crazy. It's showing me that it's automated. Low pass filter. Show it to me. Click configure. So I hate all of this. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense that I've automated this knob, but it doesn't showing automation, an automation lane. Anyway, I'm not gonna just get caught up on that. I'm going to group this. We're just gonna experiment with some resampling for a moment. What can we do? Now we have group 18. I'm going to resample this into an audio track, and while that plays through, if y'all have any random questions or anything for me to answer, we can do it. Set this to ARM. Monitoring is off. Great. But that's loud enough. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. That's sampling as audio. The noise on the MS-20 for sure. Yeah, it sounds really nice. Will the Minilab MkII ever get an upgrade? I hope so. Panda Cat, hello, good to see you. Now what I've done here is let it overlap, because you can notice the beginning of the sample is not the same, because it has sound bleeding over from the other side. There's so many questions today that are not, how can I say this? I definitely 100% appreciate everybody being here. Everybody's like enjoying the sounds. Like most people, okay, we're just enjoying the sounds. We're checking out the Arturia V collection. We talked a little bit about gear news at the top. So I'm not saying like it has to all be about one thing, but like some of you are asking like how-to questions about things that we're not covering, and things that like, if you're here looking to just like, this is not Google, right? So like, could you demonstrate a snare roll in Ableton? How does that apply to what we're doing at all? Like that's something you could very easily snare roll in Ableton, type into Google, you know? We're here to do something different. So like you have my time and you have my attention. How can we better use this time as a community, you know? So I don't see every question like, what's your approach to layering vocals? Like, we're not really layering vocals right now, but I appreciate the question. Like, these are all good ideas. If you guys have ideas for like content you want to see in the future, that's great. How did your music journey begin? See, that's like a good like general question that we can answer while we're just kind of having fun. Journey to music began because I just really liked music and I wanted to write songs and play instruments, and I wanted to produce my own music and not pay for a recording studio at a time when like that was kind of on the up and up. Like recording at home was on the up and up when I first started. So I was lucky, but it was still very, very difficult. It was not that accessible. All right, so we've added that sample to a simpler just so I can see what this is like. I'm gonna slice it probably. And like Mudstone, you're saying some vids just don't show how to do it. I promise you, I absolutely promise you, there are videos out there how to do snare rolls in Ableton Live. I absolutely promise you. Just because you looked for like whatever limited amount of time that you looked and didn't find it, doesn't mean it's not there. Listen to this pitch down version. Okay, hold on. Attack. I love that. I think one day I just need to sit down and come up with a bunch of these like layered melody sort of progressions. Because playing that slow is a lot of fun. Let's play it pitched up and fast. Now it's a pop song. Okay, first thing I want to do. Where's my voice going? Not going to do that because that's going to confuse me. I'm going to duplicate this just so we can demonstrate a different kind of sampling. Let's go ahead and slice this because that might be more fun. I missed a lot of streams. How's it going? No worries, German. Thank you for being here. It's good to have you back. It's going well. Things are like evolving on the channel quite well. Do we like that or what? That's something, right? All right, real quick. Gonna get rid of that slice. Where's that slice? Where are you? Good. We don't need that small of a slice. And that last note there. And then we're gonna have our kind of beat here, but we're gonna have to So that is fun right there. So that's kind of an easy way to come up with ideas. I need one more note. Yeah. So what's the tempo I'm playing at here? 1, 2, 4. Cool. About 90. So let's mute the group. Let's mute the sample, the original, and let's play this with a beat or with a metronome. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoot, I'm the worst. Ready, go. All right, that's a good enough little 4-bar loop there. All right. Ugh, I quantized too soon and I forgot that I changed my quantize settings. And now my command isn't working. Please, Command Shift U. Anytime. What's going on? All right, we can bring that down. Herman, thank you so much. Yeah, we're trying to grow the community more and more, do more members stuff, kind of filter the community down from like random people on the internet who just stumble upon content and kind of just want to serve themselves, which is fine. That's why I put out a lot of free content. But then like the people who want to go deeper, like a lot of the people who attended the workshop, people that like have made a chosen commitment to go forward and like my teaching style and making that deliberate choice, I want to create more pathways for them rather than just cater to the random internet audience. Now, we have that chop there, which is great. But what I would also like to do is not forget about this. I can make 2 totally different style tracks with that. So very quickly, I'm just going to insert a MIDI clip here. Now, all I'm doing is playing what note? G. Good, put that on the first beat, hit legato. it just sounds really good. No. Wait, word ambience. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not saying like anybody has to be a member anyway, because I know that that's not even possible for anybody. And then, like you said, some people have it on different accounts. But my point there is not to say like, oh, I only care about members. My main point is to say there's a difference between people who like make a deliberate choice to consume the content on the channel to get better as an artist, and then there's people who are kind of just looking for easy ways to not necessarily find a form of artistic expression, not necessarily look for the core of what it means to be an artist. Some people are just kind of drawn in because it looks really cool, or they think that they could look really cool if they were doing it. They want to get easy and fast ways, and we have to somehow filter those people out, because those people can learn and grow for sure. Just takes them a little more time. So I'll always be here when they're ready to take that next step and like move on from that kind of amateur mindset. The only real mechanism that YouTube gives to filter down into content though is like members only stuff. Because if I did that full 2-hour workshop as a live stream or as a video, like it wouldn't do well for the algorithm and it would mess up the channel. I wish I knew what BPM that was. Somebody run some quick math. If the original, actually no, you know what's actually easier is, I'm dumb, I think. Find an easy way to do this. I'm trying to get that pitch and that tempo of the sample, and all I have to really do is this. Go down from C to G, B, B flat, A, G sharp, G. That doesn't actually solve my problem. Just did the same thing again. All right, anyway, forget it. I'm going down a rabbit hole there. My point is, the only way for me to do things that aren't like broad and for the algorithm is to do them for like, do members only content that's sort of like private that people can get in. Wasn't it 68 earlier? Yeah, the tempo was 68. But what dumb quick math I'm trying to figure out is like, how do I now, the default tempo of this is 68 when it's at its root pitch. Does it not work like this anymore? Interesting. Sacred inner circle. Yeah, kind of like that. I feel like I'm in a dream. Yeah, this is very dreamy. So really quick, I'm gonna freeze and flatten this and just experiment with this a little bit. Because I could build a whole beat around this easily. That gives me that perfect 8 bars, right? But this also gives me the warping, right? Hi, Daniel. So my question is, I want to find the BPM. I guess I could just do this. It's about 76 BPM. 77. That puts it over. So it's like 76.5. There's some math involved here, which Joe is not present to do the math involved it takes to get a sample, to figure out the sample's tempo. I'm also sure I'm thinking about this like in a crazy way. 76.4 would be that tempo, I would think. Let's check that with the metronome. It's about right, because I can hear when the bass note comes in. Actually, that obviously can't be right because it has to be slower. You guys are watching me be like so dumb right now. It's amazing. The tempo is actually 51. That was a lot easier to figure out. Can you lower the BPM by stretching notes? I don't even want to think about this anymore because my brain doesn't work this way. Anyway, all right, so here we are. We used 4 beautiful new sounds to create this unique soundscape. We used Augmented Strings, which is not playing because this group is going to the master. Bro, is my brain broken today? Oh, because the group is off. Augmented Strings, Augmented Voices, SQ80V, Korg Ms2 for that deep, deep bass. Yo, what's good? Jimmy, thank you. Welcome to VIP. Thank you so much for joining me, friend. All right, we took those 4 layers, built that kind of soundscape, and we sampled it 2 different ways. We've got this sample chop here, which I'm going to bump the tempo back up to 90 BPM so you can hear it. I love the way that sounds. Y'all should be like Jimmy, hit that join button down below, become a channel member. Lots of cool perks with that. Discord, sample packs, members only workshops, submit music to feedback streams, etc. All right. And then we sampled it in this way, which is a way I would be more likely to use it, I think. Let me drop that back down to the proper tempo. So now I could hit warp on this. It maintains its timing, but I can bring it up to like a more manageable tempo, like 62. There's 2 points of inspiration there. I'm really glad we did that resampling there. And really quick, if I just jammed on top of this with a piano, this is how we would end up making like a song off it. Well, I didn't even do any drums today, which is fine, but now this is in the key of B flat. Let this whole loop play out. That is pretty lo-fi sounding, so let's lo-fi this piano out a little bit and give it some big space. Actually, instead of doing that here, let's do that in the plugin. More reverb. Whoa. Bring down the brightness. There's, see how that just elevates it because of where it sits in the mix, those higher notes? Good. Let's bring the reverb back down a bit though. All right, I need to record something over the top of this, right? 2, ready, go. Great. So simple piano line on top, and yet I mean, you throw some simple. All right. Instead of doing this the wrong way, let's do this the right way. On solo, grab drums. Oh, I have a kit here. Yes. Great, but this needs to be even more crushed and further away to fit. Oh, I have other notes. Just simple. All right, great. Let's just grab that first 4 bars and loop it. That was a good... I'm stoked that I had that drum kit there already. All right, but like magic, obviously when we throw a side chain on that sample, Just gonna help it get out of the way of the kick. That's not where it is, it's here. Instant lo-fi soundscape situation going on here. Joseph McCaffrey in the chat from an early morning in South Korea. Drop the Joe Show emotes in the chat, please, please, please. All right, how does this sound? Should we put the master chain on it? It's gonna get louder. In 3, 2, 1, go. Honestly, I don't even want to touch it anymore, but we could grab a shaker loop. What am I doing? Not that. It'll be fine. Stop the audio, but that's fine. All right, this sounds pretty good. All I did was lower the pitch of that. Is there a string instrument we can do here? Probably. Not that. Not that. No dirty leads. Thank you. Not that. I just have like the broken brain thing of like, oh, what can we add to this when it's probably in reality already done. All right, whatever. I'm not gonna add anything else to it. I think this sounds pretty good. I cannot find drums like that anywhere in stock Ableton. Yeah, and you probably won't. Ableton's stock sound selection is not amazing if you want to make any type of contemporary genre that's not like techno or acid or like any of these more European style electronic music genres. Maybe that's a hot take. But that's one of the first things you realize when you get Ableton. It's like, what are these sounds? I mean, of course, like, let me pedal that back a little bit. There are some basic sounds. Like, there's some electric keyboard sounds. I'm talking instruments now. Piano. There's some, like, acoustic drum sounds. But, like, if you want drums of a certain style, like these drums that are just, like, straight up lo-fi drum sounds, you got to get a service like these are from Lander, actually. Lander's like a sample library service that you can have and just dig through their library. You use credits to get samples that you want, but usually they have very specific genre stuff. How do you get the sound to move when the kick comes in? Good question. That's called sidechain compression. You can hear it right now. It's pumping. It's reacting with this right here. So this is a compressor. Let's do it from scratch. This is just the sound playing. Now I have this track soloed, but if I unsolo it, you hear the drums. The drums have a kick. And it's fun to get the sound pumping with the kick specifically. So we want it to react to the kick. So we can go to our audio effects and go to compressor, open it up with this arrow right here, because we're not going to use it like a normal compressor. We actually have to tell it to get the signal from the kick. We're going to put it into sidechain mode. That's why it's now a sidechain compressor. And we want to get audio from our drum rack, and very specifically audio from the kick, from the drum kit, from the drum rack. We bring that down, that threshold down, so it engages. As long as that crosses the threshold, right? That kick signal, we're gonna get that pumping. And now, I generally apply it to most things in the track, so it's applied to the piano as well. Once you make it one time, you just Command C and Command paste it onto other tracks. And if you enjoy that tip, that kind of fundamental tip of learning how to do sidechain compression, you will probably greatly benefit from the Ableton Live for Beginners series that I've just started on the channel, which I can of course link to you as soon as I type in exactly what I need to type in here. I'm just gonna link you all the new series that started. It's gonna be a monthly series. DistroKid was so kind to sponsor 10 episodes of the series. We're on episode 1, if you can believe that. They're very kind over there. And I'm hoping this is very similar to my music theory series, which if you haven't seen that, that is another starter. This is me building the TAETRO School of Music on YouTube. Free. It's free. Go watch it. Learn everything like very basic music theory. I've got the series for you. Very basic Ableton Live. We're getting started. That's the link that I just shared. Next month we'll have the next step. I take things very slow, or I try to take things very slow, because I find that a lot of times, especially in music ed, people rush through very foundational things, which makes it so much harder for you to learn everything else that comes after. So I go slow through the fundamentals. And then, so like, people ask me about my journey. If I could suggest a journey for people watching of what I think would work, is let's let this beat ride out in the back. Actually, if I could suggest a journey for other people, is first of all, you got to get your DAW. You got to get like whatever basic gear you need. Like start with just a very basic MIDI controller, whichever one. I don't care. Don't ask me. Watch my videos. Flip a coin, spin a wheel, do what you got to do. In terms of picking a DAW, find the producers that you like that are either creating content or are full-time producers, like a famous producer, like a Phineas or somebody. Figure out what they're using. Great. You've picked it. The decision's been made. Then dive deep into all the free content that's available out there on YouTube. Start from the basics. So if you like my teaching style and you like the music that I make, Ableton Live is a good bet for you. And you need to learn, basically you're on 2 parallel pathways. One is to learn the basics of music with music theory, music fundamentals. I know that sounds a little bit scary, but I think in my series, I break it down in an accessible way, not in a way that most horrible music educators break it down. There are some good ones out there, but many of them just make it more confusing for you. I will not make it more confusing for you. That's one parallel pathway. You got to learn those basic fundamentals, because there's so many people that come to my channel, they buy a keyboard, and then they literally leave comments that say, hey, I just bought this keyboard, but I have no idea how to play keyboard. It's like, yeah, maybe could have thought of that before. Hi, Lo-Fi Visions. What's good? What's good? What's good? All right. So the music theory parallel pathway and the other parallel pathway is you need to learn the software. You need to actually learn how to make the music in the software. So on one road, you're learning how to actually make music just fundamentally. On the other road, you're learning how to do it mechanically, like in software. So music theory series, I've already got it. There's a bunch of chapters there for you to watch. The Ableton Live series is the beginning of me establishing that. All of that is free. And also there's tutorials by people that are not me that you might like better, that you might vibe with more. So consume all that free stuff. Put your head down. Don't say a word. Don't go comment. Don't go like commenting on people's Instagrams being like, let's collab, or whatever people do, like go check out my video. Like don't spam people. Put your head down, learn those fundamentals and start making it so you actually understand how to make music. Then you're going to start making music that you like to make. Then you got to go a little bit deeper somehow. That's why I started doing the members workshops, and I have things like track feedback. So once you start making music, you can get feedback from me if you want. Other streamers do this too, like Av does this. Av MkII. That's a next step after you're learning or while you're learning the fundamentals, when you get a little further along that pathway, get feedback. Then you got to start thinking about what kind of artist do you want to be. And there's not like a ton of pathways out there for that, but that's why I'm trying to do deep dives like the workshops. So that's why we did the workshop on how to break down your favorite songs so that you can learn from them and start recreating the things that you like. And then next month we'll be doing how to find your style as an artist. So there's a lot of free stuff at the bottom when you're just starting out foundationally, and then as you get up, when you start taking it more and more seriously, there's just different avenues you can take to go closer and closer into the deep end. A little etiquette goes a long way. Yeah, but it's not even just about etiquette. Or part of etiquette is understanding that nobody gives a shit about your music. Nobody gives a shit that you just started out. People message me all the time like, oh, I'm a 14-year-old music producer from wherever. Will you please check out my music? It's like, that's amazing. I'm so glad you're a young music creator. You're a young music maker. But if you want attention around your music, go make great music. Find unique ways to promote that music. Establish yourself as an artist, and let me find you. I can't think, if anybody in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, has anybody in the chat discovered an artist because they commented on your social media saying, hey, check me out? Does anybody actually follow up on those? And if you have followed up on those, what percentage of the time is it actual good music that you want to continue listening to? Because that's not how we consume music. It's not how we find new artists. That's what you have to remember. Nobody owes you anything. The fact that you're making art and the fact that you're making music does not entitle you to an audience at all. We've had people before that have submitted music to track reviews that I've been like, I don't know who would listen to this. Why would anybody listen to this? And there's two heads to that coin. One head is you love making music in your home studio, and that's great. The other head to that coin is if you want people to listen to it, you have to take the audience into consideration. What's the audience you want to go for? What audience do you want to reach? What audience would like your music? You have to take that into consideration. So I might like making like lo-fi beats, right? But say I make lo-fi beats and they're 15-minute long, like lo-fi beats. It doesn't make any sense. And that just shows that I'm not paying attention to what's going on in the world of lo-fi beats, which is why we did the breaking songs down, learning about songs. It's as simple as like, what key is the song in? What BPM? What length is the song? You know, like those fundamental things. Some of you go like, oh, I want to write this kind of song, but then you're writing at a BPM that's like 20 BPM, 20 beats per minute faster than it should be. Or you're a brand new artist and you're making these songs that are like 6 to 12 minutes long. That's like, bro, I was out on the first 8 bars because it's just repeating. There's no need for it. So people get frustrated because they think that just making the music that comes out, they think that making music that really is super unique to them entitles them to an audience. And it doesn't always. Sometimes the audience comes. Sometimes you're doing something really unique and people dig it. But the writing's on the wall. If you're making something that's really unique and nobody's listening to it, you're not entitled to that audience. So make a decision. Keep making what you're making, enjoy it, and forget about the audience, or course correct. I have to create just for me. If people like it, that would be dope. Yeah, well, that's exactly how you can like view it. Like, oh, if people listen to it, it's a bonus. But otherwise, I'm just gonna make it how I like it. And the chances are, if you actually like what you're making, there's at least one other person out of 7 billion or 8 billion on the earth that will also like it. So it's just a matter of finding them. It's an odds game, right? But then some people just have absolutely terrible taste. And it's not that there's like a little bit of bias there because you actually make the thing. So if you make the thing, you have this bias towards liking it, or sometimes a bias towards not liking it. More often than not, just because you made the thing, you might be proud that you made a thing. You see this a lot in beginners and amateurs. They get gear, especially these hardware people. They get a bunch of gear and they finally, I think it's because they finally figured out how to connect it all and how to get it all time synced. And it just sounds awful. That the end product is an awful piece of music. But the achievement of having connected all of this hardware gear and getting all the different sounds to come through the mixer and getting it all synced up in time, like, gives you this illusion that you've accomplished something, where yes, you've technically accomplished something, but the music itself is not something that people want to listen to. That to me is like the big thing plaguing music tech, the music tech space in general. There's a lot of people out there making music with hardware, and it's subjective, right? Like all music is subjective. So I'm not talking about the people with tons of plays that make certain genres of music that are not genres of music that I would listen to. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people out there that are just buying a bunch of gear and putting it all together and not paying any respect to, like, does the music sound good? Following the steps of a recipe, buying the ingredients, following the steps of a recipe, we all can relate to the fact that that doesn't necessarily make the final product good. It takes more than that. It's a matter of like in recipes, it's literally a matter of taste. But like, if you haven't honed your taste and fully understood what you love about music, then you cannot actually make music that other people will love. You can't even make music that you will love if you haven't taken the time to actually dissect what you actually love. And it's hard in visual art, like, because I do painting, amateur watercolor painting. I can make mood boards. I can go on Pinterest and collect a bunch of paintings and a bunch of inspirational pictures and put them there, and I can visually see them, or I can tack them onto a board and they're physically in the space. But sound is invisible. Sound is happening over time. It's not just there existing as matter. So we do have to be deliberate with this thing. That's sound is like almost like conceptual, because you have to play and then you have to stop and then you have to keep fighting time in that way. With visual art, you don't have to do that. So it is challenging. We're coming to an end here, so I'm just like ranting a little bit, but this was a fun track that we made today. Kind of resampled. I think everybody is in agreement that the V collection, the new sounds at least, are sounding great. All right, chat. Any last words? Any last words? Yeah, hardest lesson to learn is that no matter what you put out, it's a privilege to have somebody that wants to listen to what you're making. Yes, it is not an entitlement. Just because you spent time in the studio or bought a bunch of gear or spent a bunch of time making music does not entitle you to that audience. If you found this advice helpful, I'm going to read a couple more comments. So if you have final questions, please drop them in the chat. But if you found this advice helpful, if you found this stream helpful, if you find any of my content helpful and you would like to give back and support the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Hit the join button, become a member. For as low as $2, you can support my work. But at the $5 tier, you get a ton of perks. So just pay attention to that. If you're able to become a member and you'd like to give back, it's a good way, easy way to do it. Free way to do it is to go, follow my music on Spotify, go give me a follow on Instagram and Twitter so that you can engage with content there, help me get the music out more, that sort of thing. This is important actually. From Deep Music said, if somebody tells you there's a rule, break it. This is actually absolutely horrible advice for beginners. And Hans Zimmer is not actually the best person that you should be taking advice from, even though he obviously is one of the #1 film composers. Some of his scores are actually really, really brilliant, of course. But there's a lot of abusive labor that goes on in Hans Zimmer studios. So many Hans Zimmer scores that you hear, I hate to break it to everybody, but they're not him sitting there writing every single note. It's like a giant team of people and studio technicians, etc. And there's a lot of people getting underpaid or mistreated in that workplace, from what I've heard. Allegedly. And the reason that is bad advice, if somebody says there is a rule, break it. For amateurs and beginners, this is very bad advice, because oftentimes breaking a rule without understanding why the rule exists results in it sounding terrible. So all the time, people end up submitting music to track reviews, and the music is just out of key. It's like, okay, but that comes from that mindset, right? Like, oh, I'm making music, I'm gonna break some rules and just do whatever I want. It's like, okay, you can do that, but it sounds bad. So that's why I don't like that advice for beginners. For a more advanced audience, once you learn the fundamentals, that's the problem that most of these people don't realize when they're speaking like inspirationally. For beginners, the foundations and the rules are important. And I'm not trying to homogenize everybody into one kind of music or one kind of sound or one set of rules, but once you understand those rules and you can deliberately break them intentionally for a reason, that is when you should break them. Not at the beginning when you don't even know what you're talking about. Rognan, so glad you enjoyed. German, glad to have you back. Glad you enjoyed the stream. White says, did you get the Amazon instruments? Yes, I got the Amazon instruments. The big problem, no, it's not a problem. This is Amazon Video. If you all don't know, I gave chat $500 to spend on Amazon and buy a bunch of instruments. We'll do one of those again in the future if you're new here. But I did receive all the instruments. I filmed the unboxing. The next thing that I have to do is record like samples with them. Like that was the whole goal of it, right? So I'm going to do that. And then I got to make some music with it. So it's just taking a little more time. And I'm currently involved in some super secret sample making projects. And sample making like boils my brain like a fried egg. Or fries my brain like a fried egg, I suppose. So I'm working on it. I'm probably going to upload like the unboxing video raw for the members. Stay tuned for that. And there's a video coming on Sunday. Unrelated, but there's a video coming on Sunday, of course. Key Vzax. About making what I love, I can't really find it because I listen to genres that are not related at all. When I try to make something, it depends on my mood. It can be choral, it can be psytrance. As a new producer, I'm really lost in genres. Well, the reason that you're lost, and the reason, like as you put it, I can't find it because you love all these genres. If you submit to this idea that every time you sit down, it has to be reflected by your mood, then you're always going to be confused. You're never going to find an audience. You're always going to be disappointed with your output because you're not putting enough discipline behind learning a single genre that you want to learn. And because you're not picking a single genre that you want to learn or that you want to work in, you're not able to apply influence from other genres to that single genre. So what I would do, or what I have done, is found a specific genre type of music that I like to make. when you pick that one genre that you really like to make, then you can start bringing in influences from other genres, but it all still goes into the house of the one genre that you picked. Instead, so like if you want to make chorale music, or if you want to make psytrance, you pull a little bit of your house influence, you pull a little bit of your pop music influence, you pull a little of something that you like from R&B, and you put it into psytrance. Pulling those inspirations, those influences, doesn't derail you into a different genre. So you have to pick. Or, like I said, you could not care about the audience at all. You could not care about any of this and just want to, every time you sit down and make a piece of music, it's different and you have fun doing that and it's cathartic and you love it. If you love that, keep doing what you're doing. If you're feeling frustrated in that, it's a matter of discipline. You just got to pick it. Chastity says you're a good ranter. Thank you. I appreciate it. Man, foundations and basics will always be necessary, even if you learn them over time. I've been learning guitar and piano for a few years and I'm still a beginner. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to just like grow your skills, learn a little bit more. There's like this thing that happens at the beginning when you know nothing and you start learning and you're kind of boosting up your knowledge and your capabilities. Then there's this thing that happens where you start to slow down in that because there's so much you had to catch up on. So then you got to find ways to progress further as the more you learn, which is where a lot of people end up burning out. But you just have to make sustainable habits, sustainable practices, discipline. Why don't you release more music that you produce live mainly? It just takes a bit more time. I am working on that though, Eric. That's a good question. So it's a good like peek behind the curtain. Like I'm not a perfect producer or artist or anything. I'm searching for more sustainable ways to do it. But right now, the schedule, I have a lot of things that I do outside of this channel. Work that I love to do. I like having the free time that I have as well. I have a lot of freedom and free time, and I like doing the channel. So just from the channel perspective, a weekly video, a weekly live stream, sometimes a twice weekly live stream, or essentially 6 streams a month, is a lot of work. And what I don't end up making the time for is sitting down and finishing some of the tracks that we've worked on and figuring out what I want my output to be. But I have dream, I have vision, it's just going very, very slowly. TAETRO every year. I'm going to release more music this year. Exactly. But one thing that I did realize in terms of self-awareness is that the thing that I enjoy the most is making music. The literal act of making music is more fun for me than releasing a track. Sure, releasing a track is fun, putting it out, but once it's done, it's done. I'm moving on. The thing is recorded, the video is shot, the release is out, it's out into the world. I'm done. I'm on to the next thing because that's what I enjoy, the making of the stuff. So that's why I like streaming, because this is honestly my favorite part of the process, sitting and making music. So I think there's this weird model of the music industry where it used to be, okay, to make money, you had to release music and tour. Now, I sit in my studio, I make music, don't release 99% of it, never leave my apartment, and I'm doing just fine. So for me and my values, it's better. But that's going to be it for today. I've ranted long enough. This has been a long stream. I will talk to y'all soon. Catch y'all in the next one. This has been TAETRO. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. All that good stuff. Thank you, Guybrush. Thank you, K-Paul. I'll see y'all next time. New video on Sunday. Look out for that. Go watch the video that released this weekend. Vortex Flux says, where can I learn music business? Become a member. Attend the workshops. That's all I got to say. All right. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one. I don't know why it didn't change my scene. Stream Deck. Hold. Where's the mouse? This is just like the audio issue at the beginning. It's always something new with this thing. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.